I'm Gabriel Udio. I'm a data analyst at Data Playground, and welcome back to another data analysis session. This session, our focus would be on data visualization. We'll be trying to build a dashboard, something similar to this. We've worked on our data, we've carried out our analysis, and so we'll try to wrap up uh, our knowledge on spreadsheets by building a dashboard today. But before we proceed, what exactly is data visualization? When you talk about data visualization, what you are trying to do is to use visuals to present insights, for example, to stakeholders in such a way that the moment someone looks at a dashboard, for example, or they look at a particular visual, say a chart, they're able to drive meaning from it without having to look so closely at it, without having to do so much in trying to understand it. And because of that, that also leads us to talk about a lot of reasons why you may want to choose chart, and there are as well principles to data visualization. So to start with, a chart is not just a decoration that you make use of. For example, someone might look at this and say, "Oh, wow, these charts are really nice." But then you're not just using the charts because you are trying to create a form of decoration. The point of using a chart is to try to communicate your ideas. You're trying to transfer insight from your head into the head of the person that's looking at it, and you are trying to do this as quickly and as accurately as possible. So everything that makes you choose a chart or build a dashboard should serve this particular purpose, not work against it. And there are lots of principles that guide data visualization, like I said earlier. For example, one of the first principle I would like to leave you with is to have the idea of using one chart to answer one question, not two, not three. For example, the first chart here was trying to answer a simple question of total revenue by country. Do not worry yourself. We are going to build this full dashboard from scratch. You are going to see how I was able to go about it. So note this, it's very important that you should learn to use one chart to answer one question. That is why you can have multiple charts on a dashboard, all trying to answer different questions, all trying to pass different insights to the board, for example. So, a second principle that you should have in mind is you should, when choosing chart types, you should learn to choose them for the type of questions that you're supposed to answer. At the end of this video, I'm going to tell you how to choose your chart types, how to know, okay, which chart type should I use, which would be best. There are principles for doing this, which I'm going to discuss at the end of this video. So you should have that in mind, that when choosing a chart type, you are choosing it based on the kind of question that you want to answer. There are a lot of chart types that you have, and they can be used to answer a variety of questions. For example, if you were trying to answer a question that has to do with finding proportions of a whole, you'll be leaning towards a pie chart or you'll be leaning towards a donut chart, right? It's just like this. If you wanted to discuss with someone, maybe you wanted to discuss distance of a place with someone, and you had to talk in either kilometers, of sorry, distance rather, you might have to, describe it to the person in either kilometers or miles. You can't use temperatures to describe distance, because that's not the unit for it. It doesn't communicate the message clearly, right? So there are different chart types that are used to answer different questions. Now the third thing is, do not make things look too complex or overcomplicated. Remove information that doesn't add meaning, or just make things look complicated in your chart. As this principle even has a technical name, like it's called data ink ratio. But the idea is simple, like every element of your chart should either carry information or make the information much easier to read. Anything that doesn't do this should be removed from your chart. So please have that in mind, because if you're having things that do not really add meaning to your chart, it just becomes visual noise, which is not nice. And then the last thing that you should know about selecting charts or building a dashboard is that you should make the most important thing the most obvious thing. whatever message your chart is meant to communicate, that thing should be visually dominant. It should be the first thing that the reader's eye lands on. For example, in this particular chart, take a look at this donut chart, for example. The most obvious thing is this dark colored premium segment. Someone looks at this chart and the person knows, wow, like this whole stuff's content premium. You know that, okay, wow, that means that the premium customer segment is the customer segment that dominates the most. So these are just some principles that you should have in mind. And at the end of this video, like I said, I would also talk about how to choose the right chart types to answer the right question. So let's get to work in building this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete this. So we are going to start from scratch again. So I'm going to delete the whole of this heads up. Are you sure you want to delete this shit? Yes, I'm quite sure. So I'm going to delete that, and then I'm going to delete the chart I also created down here for it. Alright, so let's proceed. Already you've done this. We did this together in our last video. And by the way, if you're watching this video for the first time, there are about two previous videos before this where we started with data cleaning, and then we started with the analysis, which landed us on this analysis sheet, and then today's focus will be on visualization. So please do well to check the playlist. I'm going to drop the link to the playlist in the description of this video. Also, if you don't have the data sets that was used in this particular video, I'm going to drop the link to it also in the description of this video. And if you do have it, please try to open it from your device or where you've studied, so you can be able to follow along in this video. So to start with, I think it would be nice to we are going to create our visualizations based on each of these tables that we've had. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do. We're going to first of all try to bring out all our charts, then we're going to transfer them to a special sheet. So before we do that, I'll just create a special sheet which would call the dashboard. Let's call this dashboard because this is where we want to present all our findings to the board. Oh, sorry about that. Dashboard. So now we have our dashboard sheet. So let's start by looking at the total revenue by country. So to get my total revenue by country, I'm just going to select all of this, and then, oh no, not all of this. I'm going to select country, and then if you're working on your laptop, you simply hold your control key down and then go to total spend and select, because we're trying to look at total revenue by country. We just need only this column and this column. So then I'll go to insert, and then I'll go to charts, and then we would use a column chart to try to answer this. I'll just rename this total revenue by country. All right, so we're going to just keep this aside for now, or better still, I'm just going to take it down here. I think I'll just copy this, and then I'll paste it in my dashboard sheet. Don't worry, we are going to arrange all of this when we are done, but for now, let's just have all our charts that we need. Now the next one I'm going to try to look at is this customer segment table. I would like to look at the revenue generated by customer segment. So I have to select the segment, and then I have to select the total spend. Remember to hold your control key down, and then you select the two columns that you need, and then again you go to insert chart. Now in this case, it's best to, you can use a pie chart, you can use a donut chart. I think I'll rather stick with a donut chart to answer this question. This is the donut chart here. You see how you just come to your pie, your this point, you select it, and then you can scroll down to find the other charts that you need, and then I'll select my donut chart. So this, I want to say this would be the revenue generated by customer segments. All right, so I need to close this down, and then I'll just bring it down here so it doesn't distract our work. And then of course I'm going to I'm going to copy this chart and then take it to our dashboard sheet, and I'll just paste it here. This would be my second chart that we are going to be working with. Now the third one is, I'll come to my third table, and I'll try to look at the number of customers for each of the age groups that you have. So again, I'll be selecting the age group, and then the I was selecting the age group, and then the number of customers that you have for each of these age groups. So I'll get this, and then I'll get this, right? And then I'm going to insert chart, and I'll use a column chart in this case, and then that would be I would say customer counts by age group. So I'm going to, oh yeah, I should, let me bring this down. Let's see the space here. I'm just going to keep all this down here. This is where I actually need all these guys. I'm just going to paste this here. Let's keep this here. We don't need to make any adjustments here. So we're going to do all of that in our dashboard sheet, whatever we did. Then next, I think I would like to look at the um top 5 customers by their country. I think that would be nice to look at. So I'll take the full name, because these are the names of all the top 5 customers. I can't take the rank. I can't just take the customer ID, because we need to be able to know who exactly are these customers. So I'm going to take them, and then I think I'm going to take their countries too, because we want to try to know the number of we want to know the top 5 customers, or should we take their country? Let's take their total spend. We want to know how much each of these customers spends, right? So let's take their names, and then let's know their spend, or how much did they spend exactly. So that chart, we're going to use a horizontal bar chart. Like I said, I'm going to tell you the purpose of choosing different charts for the different questions that you want to answer. I'm going to tell you why we decided to use a horizontal. Okay, let me just sneak that in here. If we use a column chart, or let's say a pie chart, for example, right? Let me say a column chart. We might not be able to visualize these names. What if the names were much longer, right? And maybe we had more people. For a column chart, the names would have been shortened already. But in this case, we can easily see the names clearly. That's one of the reasons why we are using a bar chart. And I will still explain the other reason why we are using a bar chart anyway. But for now, have that in mind. That's my reason for taking a bar chart in this case. So I'm just going to say top 5 customers by total spend. All right, so I think I'll just make this a little smaller, and then I'm going to have to cut it, right? But before then, let me bring this down here. Then I'm going to go to my dashboard sheet, and then I'm going to paste it here. Now, the very last thing I think I would like us to look at would be the customer seg. That this is the only table we've not touched, right? So we are going to try to look at the mix, right? We're going to try to look at the customer segment mix by their countries. That means we're trying to look at each of these customer segments, and we're trying to look at the countries rather, and then each of these customer segments, right? But first, I think I would like to just rename this to just country. Okay, so I'm just going to say, I'm not going to select the total, I'm just going to select only this part of it. I don't need the totals for anything. And then I'm going to insert a chart here. And I think the best type of chart to use here will be stacks column chart. Again, I'm going to explain the reason why when we are working. So I'll call this customer segments mix by, let's see, by country. All right, so let me just make this little, make it small, and then I'll take it down here, right? I'm going to say control. Okay, I'm going to transfer this down here, right? Now the next thing I would like to do, or the next important thing to try to do is to build our dashboard in full now, and then to bring out our findings from it. Now, a dashboard is you just having multiple visualization on it to be able to present your insights to stakeholders. So how big will I want my dashboard to be? You are free to make it. The whole idea is to make it as presentable as possible. There isn't one way to go about it. So first, I think there will need to be a heading. You can take maybe column, let's say A to N, and maybe row 1 and row 2. So I'll merge everything together. I think I'll make it at the center, and then this I like to make it at the center. I like to make it bold, and so I can type what would be the name? Let's say TradeFlow customer intelligence dashboard. All right, so this doesn't make any sense to be too small, so I think let's use font size, let's say 18. All right. Oh, why did I not apply? Okay, 18. Okay, yeah. This looks big. Yeah, yeah, looks fine. So, but we can't just leave it like this. I think we should use a, what color is this? Dark cyan, dark blue. Let's take a dark blue, and then we're going to have to change the text color to, let's say, white. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense right now. Yeah, this actually makes a lot of sense. Okay, then another thing that's important. Let's put a subheading like maybe something like analysis period. Yeah, it's important for the bot to know the analysis period that we any other vital information anyway. It's important that the bot knows about that. So let's say analysis period. Analysis period. What was our analysis period? The analysis was carried out. Let's look at our clean data. What was the date here? From 2023, January, this is January 2023, and down to April 2024. So analysis period is from January 2023 to April 2024. And how many customers did we had? We had about 60 customers, and we had 5 markets to look at. By 5 markets, we're talking about the 5 countries that we looked at throughout. This is supposed to be 5, sorry about that. So 5 markets. I think it would be nice to just increase the font size of this guy here. So another thing that we should probably try to add would be to add our total revenue, right? Let's know our total. I'll just say Control B here. Total revenue. These are things that the bot should just look at once and be able to pick them out. Another thing should be the total customers that we had. Okay, and then I think this would be, I'll make this bold also. And then let's say the average customer value, let's see. Okay, that would be much longer, so let's just merge these two cells together. All right, so average customer value, right? Now how do we get our total revenue? We can simply get our total. Let's come to this point. We already know it's 60, but I'm not just going to type 60. I'm going to rather use the formula instead, because our data might get updated in future, and so of course if our data gets updated in future, the values will also change, right? Oh, sorry, let's say total customer total revenue. Total revenue rather is 12,717,700 naira. So anyway, I'm just going to get the formula instead. I'm not going to just write the value. It's better to write the formula because the data, like I said, could get updated in future, right? So it's better to work with the value that you have rather than the it's better to work with the formula that you have rather than the value. All right, so Control A, Control C. let's go back to my dashboard sheet, and then I'm going to put this here. All right, so I'm going to make that bold, of course. And then my average customer value would be calculated. Average customer value would be calculated as this guy divided by this guy. So of course that would just be equals to B4, right? Yeah, that's B4 divided by G4. All right, so I'll press enter there, and this is my average customer value, right? I'm just going to make that bold. I think another thing that will be worth doing would be to make all of this to be at the center. Likewise, this centralize this, and then likewise this we are going to centralize. Now also, to make it stand out, it's best to try to give it some colors here. So this, of course, this is blue, so I'm just going to use a light blue here. I think that should be is it, or should I use a lighter color? Let's see, is this, yeah, I think this is better. This is much better. Yeah, this is a lighter color here. This is light blue, and yeah, this is light blue. Let's give it that. All right, so we have this now. The next thing that we can try to do now is to arrange our charts. Right, we are going to still work on the colors of our different charts, but let us first try to arrange our different charts. All right, so I'm just going to see how to share them properly. So our first chart, we have A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So I think I would like to be, that means I'll be taking the first 7 columns to for this total revenue. So I'm just going to try to spread that out down to column G. Then likewise, I think I'll just have to take this down so that it's clear enough to visualize, right? And then the second chart will just take the remaining space down there. Let's see. And then take it down to N, right? Yep. Let's see. And then this would come down here to fill up. All right. So the same thing is going to happen here. The customer counts by the age group. I'm going to bring this up here. Let's see. Okay. So I need this big enough too. So I'm going to take this down here. Yeah, should be big enough. Okay, and then the same thing is going to happen to this also, right? So I'm going to spread this out. Okay, no, I think that is, we have to put our customer spend. Yeah, yeah. Let's this was our last chart that we brought out, right? So let's keep this instead here first of all. So we're going to bring this down here. Let's properly arrange this. Arrange this properly. Spread this out. And then lastly, we'll take a look at this. Alright, so our chart names are already properly written, so we just need to modify the colors a little based on the ideas that we talked about already, right? Okay, so we have this guy at these particular points here. I think this should be nice. Yep, let's see. This should be fair enough. Fair enough. I think this is okay. Yeah, I think this is okay. Alright, so we've successfully rolled out our chart. Now let's really work on the colors. Right? We can make this let's make it bold. Let's make it should we say black? Yeah, I think black is okay. We don't want too many designs. We just want something simple. So I think this labeling here should be bold. Let's make this one bold, right? Okay. So the axis titles, yeah, we're just going to make them bold. Yeah, let's make this bold also, right? Okay, then the colors. We're going to the few colors should be uh this, I think, yeah, this looks more like it. Let's use this particular color. It's total revenue by country. I'm going to leave the lines there. Yeah, I'm going to leave the lines there. Come in handy. All right, the same thing. Let's just try to repeat the same thing here. This one would be bold, right? And then the same thing here. Let's make it bold enough so someone can see what we've done here. And then we are also going to have to work on the colors now. For example, because you want each of them to stand out properly, the premium, for example, should be the dark colored. Then the next color should be a little lighter, right? This, you can take this, and then the basic should be having the lightest color here. This makes a lot of sense because you are transitioning from the most dominant value to the least dominant value. So that's one thing about selecting your colors there, right? So again, the next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to try to repeat something like this for the other chart so that the color also feels consistent too. First, I'm going to bold in the axis and then the titles too, right? And then I'm going to work on the colors. A few colors. What color do we use there? I think, yeah, it was this guy. So the same thing we just applied to this guy here, right? So we're just going to make it bold. Did we did something? We did something here in this case. So in this case, I think this was which we chose the color black here, right? Yeah. I think that was what we chose in that particular case. We chose the color black. So we're just going to basically just repeat the same thing for the other charts too. So let's do this here also. This will be color black, and then this we just make it bold. We don't need too many designs. We just need something that's presentable to the board. Then we work on the colors too. The color should be this guy. Okay. And then lastly, this particular one, okay, before we even edit that, let's just quickly um work on this guy, make it bold, and then customer segments. Okay, supposed to make this dark. Now this particular guy, what we are going to, the colors that are going to apply here for our premium, standard, and basic should be similar to what we did here also. So wherever we see the premium customers, we know already that the color should be this dark blue that's here for all of them. Then wherever we see our standard customers, we are going to change the color to the next this, which is light blue. And then lastly, we are going to round up with this guy. All right, so that's basically all, that we needed to do to just edit our chart. Just very minor edits that we needed to do there to make it look much more presentable. I think I would like to zoom this to so that's what it looks like. Yeah, this is actually it's nice enough. It's not the best, but it's what the board needs to see. We are just giving them what they actually need to see here. Oh, I did not forget to work on this color. Yeah, so this is it. We have the total revenue by country. We have revenue by customer segments. You feel free to edit yours. You can use different font styles. You can do a lot of you can do a lot to just make your charts try to stand out. But the aim is to make sure that you do not have too many visual noise. You're able to communicate your message to the board without having anything that's so confusing. Having some that you can easily look at and be able to bring out meaning from them. So The question comes now, it's one thing to build a chart, or sorry, it's one thing to build a dashboard rather, and it's another thing to try to derive meaning from it. So the question now comes like, what meaning can we derive from this particular dashboard that we've just built, right? So starting with the total revenue by country, we can see that the country with the highest revenue is South Africa. But then something has to be special about South Africa, right? What's so special about South Africa generating the highest revenue? We know that, okay, obviously we see that South Africa generates about 5,167,000 out of, okay, let's put it in numbers. Where's my calculator? Where's my calculator? Calculator. So South Africa generates 5,167,000, 5,167,000, divided by what's our total revenue? Our total revenue is 12,707,700. That's 12,717,700. That's equal to, so if you tell us I'm going to multiply by 100, I'm going to multiply by 100 times 100. So South Africa is generating like 40.6% of the total revenue, just one country alone. But what's so special about them? Do you realize that despite that, South Africa has the same number of customers as Ghana, Kenya, the same number of let's go to our analysis sheets. Maybe that would actually make a lot more sense to us. If you look at the number of customers in Ghana, you have 12. That in Kenya, you also have 12. That in South Africa, you have 12. But yes, South Africa generates the highest revenue. The reason is simple, because they have more premium customers. So this is what our dashboard is telling us. I think is going to be what noting down as part of our findings here. So I'm going to, I think I'll just select sales A to C, and then I'm going to merge these three together. I think I'll make it bold and give you some color, because we want to try to present our findings to the board now. So what's our first finding that we have here? South Africa. South Africa generates 40.6% of the total revenue, right? Despite having the same customer base, or the same, yeah, you should say the same number of customers as Ghana and Kenya, right? And this is because we know that they have more. This is because they have more premium customers. Okay, this is because they have more premium customers, right? So I think it's not to make this look too bad. So I'm just going to wrap this text. Yeah, let's wrap it. Let's just wrap it there. That's quite an important finding here. It's quite an important finding. So let's keep that aside. Now, which other findings do we have here? Let's go to our premium customer, our revenue by customer segment. See that the premium customers generate about 60.2% of the total revenue. That's a really huge number. The premium customers contribute about that's about seven. From our data we can see the two is telling us about, that's about 7,649,000. That's what the premium customers are contributing to the total revenue. But then it's not just knowing how many premium customers do we actually have in this data. Did we try to bring out any in this case? No, we did not. So we can calculate them by looking at this. We know that in Nigeria, for example, we have four premium customers. In Ghana, we have one. Kenya, we have one. South Africa, we have seven, and then in Rwanda, we have one. So we add all that number together. We have 4 plus 1, that's 5, plus 1, 6, plus 7, that's 13, plus 1, that's 14. So if I were to calculate that, that's 14, 14, 14, 14. So we have 14 divided by the total customers that we have, sorry, times 100, right? So the premium customers is just 23% of the full customer base, yet they contribute about 60% of the total revenue. That tells you how important the premium customers are, right? So it's I think it should be the highest priority of the country of the company rather to try to retain this particular customer base. So I think that's an insight also on what's adding to data. So again, I'm going to of course give it the light blue color. I'm going to make it bold, and then we are going to include these insights too as part of our data. So we're just going to say the premium customers, which is about 23 percent of sorry about that, 20% of the customer base, drive 60% of oh, 60.2%. I think that's, let's just try to be much more accurate. 60.2% of revenue. And what are we trying to tell the board about this? We want to say that that means retention of this customer base of this segment. I can say this segment is that the highest priority is the highest uh, priority. Right. So that's it. I think we should wrap that too. Yeah, we should wrap that too. Okay, and before we even we proceed, let's keep this at the center. Let's keep this at the center too. That makes no sense. Now, there's still we can still have more insights from this. There's so much that we can actually bring out from this dashboard that we just built. Now, another thing that we try to look at is the customer counts by the age group. We can see clearly from here that our highest customer base, or in terms of age group, is those within the age of 25 to 34. We whooping 27. We have the 45 to 54 are just five customers. These ones 35 to 44, 20, that's coming up second, and then you have one here, you have five here, you have one, and then you have one. And this guy is 27. What does this guy tells us? This guy tells us that if we're to carry out advertisement, we will try to target, or we'll try to focus mostly on those within the ages of 25 to 34, since this is our largest customer base when you're looking at age demographics there. So that's also what's presenting to the board. All right, so I'm just going to take that also. I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to uh, combine together. I'm going to bring it to the center also, and then I'm going to change the color also to the, of course, the light blue, and then we are going to add that as part of our findings. So the 25 to 34 age bracket, that how you say it in English, is TradeFlow's um largest customer uh, base by I think it should be age demographics. I believe that's that should be correct. I think so. If you talk about age demographics, I'm not sure if that's the best way. I think I need to search that. What does age demographics even mean? Age demographics. What does that mean? What does that mean? Oh, yeah. Okay. So you are looking at population by age group, right? Okay. Yeah. Let's just say age demographic means what. So we can know that we're trying to say the correct thing. Statistical data reducible. Okay, yeah. So we are correct about that. So the 25 to 34 age bracket is TradeFlow's largest customer base by age demographics. These are just some of the findings that we can have from this dashboard that we just used. There's a lot more that we can actually have. There's a whole lot more that we can have from this dashboard that we just built. These are just some of them among the many, right? You can be able to, you can find more. There's so much that you can actually get from this particular guy. So to wrap up this session, we'd like to talk about the principles for choosing the right chart types. Like, how do you know which chart type is best to answer which question? From this work that we just did now, we can see that we have different chart types. We have the pie charts, we have the donut charts, we have the column charts, we have the bar charts, we have the stacked column charts also, all trying to answer different questions. So how do you know which chart type to use for each question? Now the first idea is looking at when you're trying to compare values across different categories. Whenever you're trying to compare values across different categories, the best chart types to use is you're either using a bar chart or you're using a column chart, and it depends on the case. You use bar charts. By bar chart, I mean this horizontal bars, for example. That's this particular chart I used here. They are best when you have many categories or category names that might not fit horizontally. For example, these names, if I had used a column chart like this one, if I use a column chart rather than this, it's probably that maybe this last name that's very long, you might not see it clearly, and that's not something I want. We want to be able to visualize everything properly. We don't want to hide any particular detail from the board, right? So that's why we chose to use the bar chart instead. And then the column chart is suitable. That's the vertical bars. Whenever you have fewer categories and you want to try to emphasize height differences, or you want to bring out your findings based on the height of each of these charts. Like now it's easy to say here that the highest revenue is South Africa just by looking at it straight. You know what you're looking for. Or you can say the highest customer count by age group. The highest population here is the 25 to 34 age group. All right. So now, whenever you want to talk about showing parts of a whole, the best type of chart to use is to use the pie chart or the donut chart. This is a whole, right? We are trying to now share into different parts, right? We shared into when we're looking at the revenue by customer segment, we shared into three parts: the premium customer segment, the standard customer segment, and then we have the basic customer segment, right? So this was a whole, and then we try to share into different parts. So you either use the pie chart or you use the donut chart, right? Okay. Then if you want to show distribution across the age groups, if you want to show distribution across groups rather, not just age groups alone, it's also quite important that you make use of a column chart. For example, if you are trying to show distribution across different countries, we use what, a column chart. Likewise the case of age groups here. Now if you're trying to compare dimensions simultaneously, you're trying to compare um you're trying to look at the dimensions by, for example, I mean, you are looking at different customer segment, the premium, standard, and basic. You are simultaneously looking at these segments alongside each of the countries. In this case, best use a stacked bar chart. You want to know each of these guys, the premium, standard, and basic, how are they shared across Nigeria? How are they shared across Ghana, Kenya, South Africa? So you are comparing the multiple dimensions now. It's best to use what, a stacked bar chart. So these are just some of the principles guiding how you choose your chart based on the different questions that you want to answer. Now, of course, if after completing a job like this course, at this point you are done with your job. You've analyzed, you started by cleaning the data, if you remember. Mind you, if you've not watched the video on how we clean it out, if you've not been able to follow along, you can check out the playlist. Like I said, I'll drop the link for that to that playlist in the description of this video. You can go and check there and see how we clean the data. And then the next video is how we analyze this data. And then now we've built the dashboard. So if you've done your cleaning, you've done your analysis, and now you've built your dashboard and you'll be able to bring out your insights. This project is a full professional project now that should be it's what's displaying on your portfolio, is it's what's showing to the board, right? It's what's showing to the board. And so in our project playlist also, I'm going to drop the link to that place, or you can just check out our channel and then check out the different playlists. You see a playlist on projects. Now in that playlist we have a video on uploading your projects to your GitHub, right? It's very important that the project like this, you try to upload it to your GitHub. So you can, if you don't know how to upload your project to GitHub, then that video is what's going through. See how we went through it, and then this project is what's uploading to your GitHub, right? Is also what talking about on your LinkedIn and all. So Please do well to follow through with this, upload the project to your portfolio. It's a good way to start. Uh, don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, share to other people that you know that will be interested in learning data analytics or data analysis. We have a Telegram community that we're also trying to grow. I'll drop the link. Please do well to join our Telegram community to connect to other data analysts. And thanks for watching this video. Next video would be looking at SQL, which is the next section in this course. Thank you very much.